Hi, it's Jay, back with another video. Today I will be participating in the hashtag midyear tarot tag. I wanted to participate in this tag so badly when it was going around a couple months ago, and I just couldn't muster up the chops to film a video. But now that I've recorded 2 videos and I feel like I'm on a roll, I really want to be a part of it. So the first prompt is a deck you've used the most so far in 2025, and for me, that is the Majestic Earth Tarot. This deck and I understand each other in a way that I can't seem to replicate with any of my other decks. And while some of the imagery with Folkloric Forest is reminiscent, and I think that Christa had said, like, if you can't get your hands on Majestic Earth, like, the Folkloric Forest is, like, not a replacement, but it's a good stand-in. And I agree with that, and that's one of the reasons why I love Folkloric Forest. But to me, in my practice, this deck can't be replaced. And while I believe in soul decks and insofar as like there are sometimes going to be decks that you like connect with viscerally more than any other, the Majestic Earth is that for me right now. And that can change. Like, there's been other soul decks in the past where I'm like, I feel such a strong connection with them and I would never get rid of them, but like I don't use them as much anymore. But for me right now, in this last year, this has been that deck for me. And one of the other things that I love about this deck is the guidebook. I think is so succinct and also poetic in its way of describing the cards, that I just like enjoy everything about the experience of using this deck. I love the cardstock, I love the images, I love the chipped up gilding because I've used it so much, and I love looking up the entries in the guidebook because of the way that they're written. So this is definitely my standout so far of 2025, the deck that I've used the most this year. Prompt number 2, a new deck that came into your collection. For this prompt, I'm going with When Olga Speaks. So I feel like collage decks have really had their moment this year. 2025, everybody is kind of like buying collage decks, using collage decks, making collage decks, and I'm here for it. I love it. Because of all the different collage decks that have come out, it's really sparked an interest for me, and I've started doing some collage as well. I know a couple other people in the community have gotten started with collaging. I think Honey Lou had mentioned it in her Instagram. And so I just love how inspirational these decks are for me and everybody else. This deck in particular, I have slated for like ancestor work, even though that's not like a huge part of my practice. I really enjoy having a deck that has the ability to do that. And so, yeah, for this question, I'm going with When Olga Speaks. 3, a deck that could be better. Pocket archetypes. So I'm a fan of Kim Prince's artwork, and I like have had and used Wild Unknown and the Spirit Animals decks. And I bought this deck because I like the concept of an archetype deck. Even though I feel like you can look at any like tarot major arcana and say that's an archetype deck. Like, I like that this is focused on that, and I think that the artwork is so pretty. I like the mix of the ink drawings, the watercolor, some collage elements. I think it's like more visually interesting than some of the other Wild Unknown decks that we've had. But what I think could be better on this is the cardstock. So like the very first time that I used this deck, the cards like kind of bent in a way that they're like facing different directions, and it's never like it's never going back to the original non-puffed up state. And so like I have seen worse mass market cardstock, but it just bothers me so much that like this deck has so much potential. It's so beautiful, and it has like a good job to do being an archetypes deck, and the book is great and it's so cute. But the cardstock, man, I will never stop complaining about cardstock. Sorry. Question number 4, deck you're currently using. So for that, I went with Folkloric Forest. So I kind of rotate in my practice between Majestic Earth and Folkloric. I enjoy using both of them, and they both fulfill like a kind of similar niche as I talked about before. It is like pretty fall vibes, so I'm looking forward to using it more in the coming weeks. But I really love this deck a lot. Like, I love everything about it. So this deck I've been using a lot. Biggest surprise. Count the Ways, A Poet's Oracle. So I first saw this on Shanna D's channel, and I was like, oh, I'm like into poetry right now, and I think it's got the collage elements, and like I just think it's a cool deck. I was hesitant on it because it's only 30 something cards, and I like my oracles to have like a little bit more meat on the bones. But the reason that this deck surprised me is that I had no idea that the guidebook is essentially like a little spread book. So anytime that you pull a card, did I have that on the same page? No. But anytime that you pull a card, you look up the, oh nice, the poet in the guidebook, and it gives you spread questions. So I'm a big fan of like anything that helps with spreads. That's why I love like the spread machine and now those spirit kittens. So yeah, you shuffle and pull your oracle card, your poem, like you can look up the full length poem if you want to, and then you have your 3-card spread that you can use your tarot cards with. And I just think that that was such a pleasant little surprise, and I love this deck for that reason. My deck crush. So I have such a little crush on this deck. This is the Spirit Kittens. The Kickstarter just came like a couple weeks ago, and I've just been using it immediately in my practice by implementing the questions at the bottom of the cards into tarot readings. And like, I have such a crush on this deck, from the adorable, cute artwork to the tiny little square size to the sparkly purple gilding. Like, this deck is so adorable, and I have such a little crush on it. So this is my cutie little crush deck. My favorite single tarot card from a deck. So the Magician card from Daydreaming and situ. I just think that this is one of the most beautifully made cards in the deck. So one of the things that I've talked about before in regards to Daydreaming and situ, I love that Annie Farrar cut out all these tiny little components of the collage and then put them together kind of like a mosaic. And so this one in particular, just the color scheme, everything about it speaks to me. And so there's been multiple times this year where I've just pulled this card out and put it on my altar because the card is just so visually stunning. So that's the card that I love the most this year. A deck that makes me happy, it's always going to be Playful Heart. Like, there's not a deck in my collection that makes me happier than just the colors and the illustrations and the tactile enjoyment of holding and reading with the deck, the sparkly gilding. Like, Kitten Chops nailed this deck. It's perfection, and it makes me so happy when I get to pull it out and read with it. A great guidebook. So Spirit Keepers, I've talked about this in one of my other videos, how I am saving this deck to be like a study deck. And so it's got this great little white book included in it, but the real meat and potatoes of this deck is the intense tome of a book of maps and whatever this is. Like, there's just so... How are you going to beat this in a guidebook? Like, you just can't. So this is my best guidebook, but I have not had the time to dedicate to that just yet, but I will. What deck do you want by the end of the year? Are still waiting on. That is the Discovering Beauty Tarot. And yeah, I'm like super hype on that. And then which deck hasn't been used yet, but you want to work with it this year? For me, that is the Three Trees Tarot, Oak, Ash, and Thorn. I have plans with my friend Erin, who I mentioned in my first video, to start working with this deck in a couple of weeks. And then we have some ideas coming down the pipeline of videos that we want to make together about this in particular. So I'm really excited to start seeing this come into rotation a little bit more. Sorry about the upside down cards. I'm still getting used to this. So. Oak, Ash, and Thorn going to be coming in heavier rotation. The favorite video that I've made or seen. So I would say that some of my favorite videos that I have watched this year, I'm not even sure, did they come out this year? Yeah, there's some that are from this year. So Questions for Desserts channel, that's Krissie Brentley. She has made a series of daily vlogs, and she uses her tarot that she's created, the Narrative Alchemy Tarot. She reads from a daily book of prayers, and then she pulls a card, and then she reads from her guidebook. And I have enjoyed those videos so much that I actually ordered the deck and the book, and I'm waiting for them to arrive. But those probably have been like the most peaceful, enjoyable, fulfilling videos to watch lately. And then the pull a card for the next 6 months, or pick a card whose energy you want to bring into the next 6 months. So I think it was Catomancy Tarot who, when she filmed this tag, she was like, I'm not going to risk it and pull a random tarot card. And I agree. I just think, like, I'm not huge on predictive readings in general. That's not how I use my tarot practice. And so I'm not going to pull a tarot card and kind of like risk setting myself up for failure for the next however many months are left in the year. So let's see what the spirit kittens have for me to focus on this year. Ooh, solitude. In the center of the sky, everything is vast, still, and quietly beautiful. I am the peaceful expanse of solitude. I will return to the world soon, but for now, I have a rendezvous with myself so I may hear my own voice, discern my own longings, and kindle faith in myself. And the question is, how can I make space for a moment of solitude? So that is going to be my card for the rest of the year. Yeah, so, oh, I forgot to do my fun little things at the beginning of the video. So the nail polish that I'm wearing is Bluebird Lacquer, and the color is Kitty Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And the scent that I'm currently wearing is called Veracruz Vanilla by Saint. And this is just like your typical kind of basic vanilla. I like it as a base scent that I can like layer other perfumes on. And I think that Yellow House Tarot is going to be arriving later today. So I wanted to put something on that was a little bit like basic so that when Yellow House comes, I can pair something special with that unboxing. And so I thought this would be a nice base because who doesn't like vanilla? I mean, I know there's a few people that don't, but like in general, vanilla is a very inoffensive, pleasant scent, and it's going to go well with what I kind of have in mind for Yellow House for pairing with that deck. All right, so that's all I have for you, and maybe I'll see you later if Yellow House comes today. Fingers crossed. Talk to you later. Signing out.